As a black man and as a person of color, the scariest nightmare I could ever live through is if I would wake up one day and the entire country is filled with Nazis. If Hitler succeeded in defeating the United States, Russia, and every single other country that the Nazi regime were going up against in World War II, if Hitler actually won and he successfully made America turn into a Nazi America, that is the worst possible outcome for anyone that's black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, and any other person of color. If you are a woman, that is a terrible nightmare for you. If you are anyone that is not a white Caucasian Aryan male that has blue eyes and blonde hair, man, that nightmare is going to be the most hellacious experience anyone could ever experience. So thank God that in our current status quo, we are not feeling that. But if you really know what's happening in the real political events of 2025, that is actually more nuanced than we would actually like to admit. But that's neither here or there. I'm not going to be a political channel, but if you are keeping up to date with the current political landscape in 2025, especially in America, you would know that type of status quo is becoming a reality of some sort. But thank God that it's not a full reality in the real life. I can't say the same thing for fictional worlds, because there is a fictional world that is currently experiencing this terrible, hellacious status quo. There is a fictional world that is filled with Nazis. There is a fictional world that has the United States of America rebranding themselves as the Nazi regime United States of America. And this fictional world is Earth X that can be found in the DC Comics universe, man. And Earth X literally is Hitler's dream, because when Superman crash landed into Earth, he did not crash land in Kansas. He actually crash landed in Nazi Germany in the height of World War II. And Hitler saw this Superman, aka this Kal-El, as a baby. He groomed him, he morphed him into an adult Nazi tyrant. And when he became an adult, he turned into someone who only goes by the name of Overman. And Overman has his own Nazi Justice League. He even has his own Nazi Supergirl. And Overman and the Nazi Justice League, they are fighting against the freedom fighters that consist of Uncle Sam, the Ray, and a lot of other superheroes. But the thing is, bro, it seems that James Gunn successfully adapted this universe. It seems that James Gunn, he was reading the comics, he saw a universe called Earth X. He thought to himself, how can I implement this universe into my own DC universe? And he did just that, because in Peacemaker season 2 episode 6, we are witnessing the real debut of Earth X in this universe, man. And this debut has been speculated with so many fans over the past couple of weeks, because a lot of fans were realizing that, damn, we are not seeing any person of color throughout the last couple of episodes in Earth X compared to the normal universe in the DCU. And I also realized that the Sons of Liberty, you know, they actually felt like they were doing something that was just. They felt that they were doing something that was right. They were trying to attack political commentators, and they got killed by Peacemaker because of that. And remember, Peacemaker's own brother, he assisted Peacemaker in destroying that helicopter. And now, a couple episodes later, we are looking at Adebayo, Amelia Harcourt, Johnny Economos, and Adrian Chase's vigilante. They are worried for Peacemaker. They are trying to get Peacemaker back. Adebayo successfully used that pocket dimensional opener that Peacemaker usually has. She successfully booted it up, and she now placed it inside Adrian Chase's basement. And Adrian Chase's basement was filled with cocaine to the brim. It was filled with a lot of blood money, a lot of drug money, because every time Vigilante would stop a lot of drug busts, he would bring the money back home because he doesn't want all of this drugs and all of the cocaine to go into the systems of alligators and other animals. So I had to say that tidbit because it will be important later on for Amelia Harcourt. And when Adebayo successfully opens this pocket dimensional opener, they go into Earth X. And when they're inside Earth X, from the start, they really actually think that this is a good universe. They look at Peacemaker's room, they look at all the trophies that this house has, they like what they're seeing, but this completely gets interrupted when Peacemaker's own brother, he walks into the room, and Amelia Harcourt, she has to think of a lie as to why she's here, because Peacemaker's brother thought that Amelia was with Peacemaker just now, but he is shocked to see Amelia currently at their house. So Amelia lied to Peacemaker's brother, saying that, oh, I was just here to pick up the snow globe, and even though the snow globe is for Peacemaker's mom, he told me to pick it up for some odd reason, and the brother bought that story. So they now actually drove to Amelia's job, and when they were driving, Amelia, she was looking out the window and she was noticing something. She did not say it out loud, but when you're watching the episode, you are noticing something alongside Amelia as well, because she was looking at the street. She was only seeing one type of person that was walking in the street, and every single person that was walking, whether they were a man, whether they were a woman, whether they were a child, they all looked similar. They all looked the same. She noticed that something was off. But when Amelia got dropped off to the job, we now see a scene, and this scene consists of Vigilante, because Vigilante, he wanted to see his other counterpart. He wanted to know how he looked like. He wanted to know how he acted like. And Vigilante himself even thought that if he sees his other counterpart, then maybe he could also stay in this universe alongside Peacemaker. So when Vigilante, he breaks off from the group, he goes back to his house inside this universe, and he goes into the same house. He notices that there are some slight differences. He sees that his dad is not gay in this universe because his dad is gay in the Prime DCU universe, and he goes down to his basement. He realizes that the same set of keys that he has works in this same universe, so he opens it, he goes inside, he sees himself, and he now does the Spider-Man meme with himself. That shit was peak, and this Spider-Man reference proves that eventually later down the line, the DCU and the MCU could potentially have a crossover. I hope they do have a crossover that's similar to JLA Avengers. If you know that comic book is peak, man, but that's neither here or there. I'm talking about Vigilante right now. And the thing is, bro, the other universe Vigilante says something that confirms all of our suspicions, because as they were bonding, they were talking with each other, they were talking about the many things they loved with each other, they were talking about the many things they admired with each other. But the thing is, our Vigilante said, and my best friend, his name is Peacemaker, but the Earth X Vigilante, he stopped right there. He stopped laughing. He became serious. He told our Vigilante, wait, there is no way you are friends with Peacemaker. That piece of shit, that motherfucker is the reason why I joined the Sons of Liberty in the first place. That motherfucker is my arch nemesis. And our Vigilante's like, wait, what? The Sons of Liberty? And if you know the Sons of Liberty in our universe, the Sons of Liberty are a white supremacist fascist group, and they're also extremists. But in this universe, it seems that the Sons of Liberty are the freedom fighters in this universe. So I hope that we could see a reference of Uncle Sam later, or the Ray, or hell, even a Plastic Man, because if you know Plastic Man in the early comics, he was a part of the freedom fighters. So I hope that they reference the freedom fighters in this universe, but it makes sense to realize that the Sons of Liberty are alongside the freedom fighters, or they are a group like the freedom fighters. And damn, that's crazy. It proves that this universe is Earth X. But before I continue, I need to sidetrack a bit, because there is a scene in this episode that really reaffirms my trust in James Gunn when he is adapting a real interconnected universe. And we all know Rick Flag, we all know the big hater that is Rick Flag. And Rick Flag, remember, he is the second biggest hater in the DCU so far, but it's crazy to believe that he will soon meet the top tier hater. He will soon meet the one person that is in the gold place, the one hater that is in the first place, and that hater is Lex Luthor, bro. When I saw that cameo really reaffirmed my trust in James Gunn, because we are really witnessing a real interconnected universe, and you're going to see characters from other projects or shows. These characters, they will appear in future projects or shows that are not related to them in the slightest. But the reason why Lex Luthor was in this episode is because Rick Flag Sr., the big hater that he is, he has ran out of all options at his disposal. He tried to incriminate Peacemaker illegally and legally, and both options failed. He literally tried to kill Peacemaker in the interrogation room so that Peacemaker could die right there, but that option failed as well. So Rick Flag Sr., he's panicking. He really doesn't know what to do. He even told Langston to get out of his office because he was so frustrated, but he thought of a plan. He thought of something that is actually kind of a smart plan, but is also a risky plan. And he needed to go to the Belle Reve prison because he needed to visit an inmate, and that inmate is Lex Luthor. When he meets Lex Luthor, he is asking Lex that, look, I know you want to get back in the good graces of the public. I know you want to have a second chance. Even though Lex Luthor, he tried to negotiate with Rick Flag in the only way he knows how, by trying to triumph over Rick Flag, because Lex was trying to tell Rick that, look, I want to get out of here. I want to get full immunity. You need to release me. But Rick Flag Sr. said, you know, we are past that. You did a lot of shit that caused you to be in the place that you are at currently, but I can give you one thing. I can transfer you from this metahuman prison, and I can transfer you to a prison that is filled with humans instead of metahumans. But you need to do one thing for me, and the thing that you need to do is you need to tell me how to open pocket dimensional portals, because I need that. And Lex, you know, he was contemplating his options, but Lex ultimately agreed to help out Rick Flag Sr. So we are seeing the big hater number one and the big hater number two. They are working together. They are working in tandem just to get Peacemaker, even though Lex Luthor truthfully does not give a fuck about Peacemaker. He really only gives a fuck about metahumans. I really love that cameo, man. That cameo was peak, and it proves that we are literally witnessing a real interconnected universe, man. James Gunn is cooking. So as all of this is going on, right, we're seeing Amelia Harcourt. She gets dropped off to the job that the other Amelia Harcourt usually works at, and when she goes in, she gets instantly stopped by a German Shepherd. Key word, German Shepherd. These dogs were mostly used by Nazis in World War II, but the German Shepherd stops her because the dog spotted cocaine, and she had to get checked. She had to do a blood test to see if she had any cocaine in her system, and eventually, you know, nothing came out of it. Then she now saw Peacemaker, and when she now saw our Peacemaker, Peacemaker was asking, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? And Amelia, she finally let her emotions loose on Peacemaker, because she was telling Peacemaker that we are here for you. What the hell are you doing here? And you know, they had a heart to heart, even though at first it was an argument, because Peacemaker, he asked her, look, so that kiss that we had didn't mean anything, like didn't mean anything to you, and you didn't even tell me that Rick Flag Jr. was your significant other before, so it feels odd that I killed your significant other and I'm trying to hit on you. And she told Peacemaker that, didn't you realize that when we first met I hated you initially, but obviously those feelings have changed because I don't hate you anymore. And this caused Peacemaker to stop and realize that, wow, Amelia does not hate me. But Peacemaker, you know, he's too far up his own ass, so he tells Amelia that I'm not leaving. I know you guys came here to save me and to bring me back, but I'm not leaving here. You know, my dad's here, my brother's here, and the Amelia here, she loved me. And you know, this kind of caused Amelia to get a little bit upset, but they eventually had to leave because Amelia got cleared. She had no drugs in her system. And as they were leaving, Amelia, she was telling Peacemaker something, And she was right, because Amelia was asking Peacemaker something, and the thing that she asked was right. The question she was asking Peacemaker was this: did you realize that there's something wrong in this universe? And you know, Peacemaker is an oblivious dumb fuck. He doesn't really pay attention to the small details. So Amelia now asked another question, and the follow-up question was this: have you ever realized that in this universe I have not seen a single person of color? And have you seen a single person of color? Peacemaker was like, you know, I haven't seen anything. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't notice that. And Amelia, you know, she was still scratching her head, but Peacemaker eventually sees a flag. And this flag that Peacemaker sees is a Nazi America flag, bro. So we now go to Adebayo. Adebayo, she is still at the house with Johnny Economos. Adebayo, she wants to leave the house to go for a walk, to clear her mind, you know, to get back in the groove. And Johnny Economos, he's not willing to follow Adebayo outside. So Adebayo is like, okay, I'll walk by myself. So as she's walking down the street, we see a white lady driving a car, and the white lady, she is literally mean mugging Adebayo. She is staring at Adebayo. She's looking at Adebayo with hatred, and she instantly stops her car. She runs to a neighbor. She tells the neighbor something, and she points to the neighbor, and the neighbor is looking at Adebayo in an angry way. And we see Peacemaker's brother. He is driving his truck. He sees Adebayo. He slams on his brakes. He hops out the car, and he says this: one got out. That's a black. I was like, bro, that's crazy. He literally said one got out. So what the fuck does this mean? In this universe, did they capture all the black people? Did they capture everyone that's a person of color? Did they slaughter them? Did they put them in internment camps? Did they put them in gas chambers like how the Nazis did? What the fuck is going on in this universe? So Adebayo, she saw this shit. She was like, oh fuck no. She was running. She was trying to run for her life, but everyone on that street was chasing Adebayo, and everyone on that street are all Caucasian, bro. They were all chasing Adebayo. So this proves that this is a Nazi universe. This proves that this is Earth X. This proves that Hitler won World War II in this universe. And another thing I want to talk about is Johnny Economos. He got attacked by Peacemaker's dad, the Blue Devil, and Peacemaker's dad. You know, he stabbed Johnny Economos' hand, and Johnny Economos, you know, he was panicking, he was scared, he was fearing for his life and his safety. So he unintentionally tells his dad that, look, man, I'm just here from a different universe. Peacemaker killed your son. Oh shit, I probably should have not said too much. So we'll have to see what happens in the next episode. But bro, as a black man, bro, this universe is my worst nightmare, bro. As a person of color, I would never ever want anyone to be subjugated to this type of hellacious experience. If Hitler won World War II, that would be the worst possible outcome for everyone in the entire planet, because Hitler was a disgusting piece of shit that, thank God, that motherfucker is rotting in hell as we speak. But imagine if he won World War II. Imagine how different life would be. Imagine that the Nazi fascists won, man. That should be crazy. But that's the end of the video, man. This episode was peak. I think it's probably the best episode so far, and that's saying something, because season 2 has been peak for me so far, bro. Wow, I'm excited for the next episode. What do you guys think of this video and the episode? I'm out. Peace.